right, in this problem, we're going to graph y equals minus cosine of x plus pi over 2. As we just talked about in the last video, this, if we think of f of x as cosine x, this is basically f of x plus pi over 2. So this is going to take the cosine graph and it's going to shift it to the left by pi over 2. So it's going to take this whole thing, it's going to shift it to the left, so this is pi over 2, so this point comes right over here, and then we continue our graph, we get this. So I'll worry about the negative later. This is the graph of this is the graph of y equals the cosine of x plus pi over 2. Now we've got a negative in front of that. So what is the graph of that going to look like? Well, all the negative does is it takes all of these, it just changes the sign. So we're going to get a mirror image over the x-axis. Again, as we talked about in algebra. So all this is going to do is it's going to take this, we're going to get a mirror image of this. The mirror image of this over the x-axis is this. The mirror image of this is this. And so on and so forth. So this red graph, this is the graph of y equals minus the cosine of x plus pi over 2. So that's how we can go about graphing these. Again, the thing in math is when we look at a whole problem, it looks overwhelming. So we need to learn to break things down into small, manageable parts. Just take one piece at a time, worry about that, take the next part. If we had some number added or subtracted here, then the next step would be take this red graph and move it up, take the whole thing and move it up 2 units, if that's what we had. But the point here is, if you take each part just by itself, it's manageable, it's doable. And you just do each piece by itself and we can get the graph doing it by hand.